So, welcome to Future Stars of Racing on this wet Sunday morning here at historic Summerside. The first group of 2-year-olds are in behind the starting gate. Starting gate will go a half mile with them behind them. Then they're off to their races. Two-year-olds to open it up on this Sunday morning. Sporty Anthony is the one. He gets Kenny Murphy. Dunstan Sticks the two with Norris Rogers, and the third one, Ocean View Lou for Brody McPhee. Two-year-old Colt Pacers to open up Future Stars, top of the stretch. Approaching a start. Sloppy track conditions in 2 seconds, and there they go. Off and pacing, Ocean View Lou from the outside to the lead. Second is Dunstan Sticks. Then the third one on the turn, that'll be Sporty Anthony. They swing around the turn and approach the opening eighth, and on the outside, Ocean View Lou for Brody McPhee is going to take the lead. Racing from second is Dunstan Sticks, and right with the leader's third, that is Sporty Anthony, and he's going to the outside quickly as they approach the opening quarter, and here comes Sporty Anthony and Kenny Murphy to take over the lead. Ocean View Lou second, Dunstan Sticks trailing the field third. They were at the opening quarter in 33 and 2. Around that turn they go, arriving at the 3/8, led by Sporty Anthony. Racing from second, that is Ocean View Lou. The third one as they come off the turn, Dunstan Sticks. So here comes the opening half mile. Sporty Anthony will be the midway point leader. Racing from second, that's Ocean View Lou, and the trailer third, Dunstan Sticks. Opening half mile, they went 1:04 and 2. Midway around the turn, arriving at 5/8, Sporty Anthony at the 2-length lead with 3/8 to go. Ocean View Lou second, Dunstan Sticks the trailer third. They're on the back stretch for the final time. 3/4 the next station. Sporty Anthony will get the field there. Ocean View Lou continues second, followed by third, Dunstan Sticks. So the 3/4 in the books, and Sporty Anthony by almost 3. 3/4 up in 1:34 and 4, 30 and change in the third. 1/8 of a mile out, and Sporty Anthony brings them home. Ocean View Lou second, and back into third, Dunstan Sticks. They're on the wire next, and Sporty Anthony is alone on the line for Kenny Murphy. Second is Ocean View Lou. Dunstan Sticks will finish third. And the time for the mile for the facing Colts, 2:03 and 4, 29 seconds flat, closing quarter. There's Sporty Anthony, the winner of the 2-year-old qualifier for the Colts. He's a bay pacing gelding, too, by Somewhere Fancy off the Sports Writer Damn Fancy Southwind. Jason Bigger of Muskogee is the owner and the trainer, bred by Jason Williams of McNeil's Mills. And Kenny Murphy along for the ride. He'll pace the mile in 2:03 and 4, closing quarter 29 seconds flat. Here's the rundown from the first qualifier. Sporty Anthony, the winner. Dunsand Sticks was third. Ocean View Lou second. 33 and 2, 104 and 2, 134 and 4, 203 and 4. In review, 132. Track condition will be listed as sloppy. Now there is a 3-second variant. Track condition is sloppy with a 3-second variant. The second group of 2-year-olds are pacing fillies. Elm Grove Uncanny, Kenny Murphy. The 2 is Blood Wine for Mike Downey. Exhilarating, the 3 for Daryl McLean. So the 2-year-old filly pacers in the second Future Stars of Racing. Elm Grove Uncanny, the 1. Here's a black filly by Malicious off the Up the Credit Dam. Jen's Credit. Joe Baxter, Spring Valley. Iris Riley of Summerside share the ownership. Joe is the trainer. Filly bred by Bobby Gordon of Elmsdale. Kenny Murphy is the driver. 2 is Blood Wine. Here's a bay filly by Blood Money off the Cami Best Dam Slim and Sleek. Dr. Mitch Downey of St. John, New Brunswick is the owner and the breeder. Mike Downey, trainer driver. And number 3 is Exhilarating, a bay filly by Shanghai Phil off the Sports Writer Dam Sports Affair. Daryl and Gordon McLean of Winslow, Stephen Downey, Quizfam Sis, New Brunswick are the owners, bred by Wendell Williams. Daryl McLean, the trainer-driver. This filly has a qualifying mile under her belt where she paced in 2-1-1 with a closing quarter of 29-2. Today, they're going to try it on a sloppy track with a 3-second variant. And the 2-year-old filly pacers in baby race number 2, top of the stretch. Fillies are approaching a start. Green light go, and they're off and pacing. Exhilarating comes from the outside to lead them into the turn. Second, that'll be Blood Wine. The third one is Elm Grove Uncanny. So the fillies race round the first turn, approaching the opening 8. Exhilarating already has that qualifying trip under her belt. She was on the lead in that one. She's on the lead in this one for Daryl McLean. Racing from second is Blood Wine. Third, as they go in the backstretch, racing there is Elm Grove Uncanny. So the fillies are over to the front quarter by 2.5. Out in front, Exhilarating is the leader. Blood Wine goes second, racing from third. That is Elm Grove Uncanny, and they were at the front quarter in 33 and 3. Rounding the paddock turn, approaching on the 3/8, led by Exhilarating and McLean. Racing from second is Blood Wine, the trailer third. Elm Grove Uncanny, the 2-year-old filly pacers. arrive at the opening half mile next, and the midway point leader, Exhilarating. She leads by almost 3. Second, that is Blood Wine, and the trailer third, Elm Grove Uncanny. Into the turn they go. The opening half mile in 105 and 3, arriving at the 5H, all alone on the lead, Exhilarating. Elm Grove Uncanny is picked up second and back to third. That is Blood Wine. The 3/4 comes next. On the front end, Exhilarating has a large lead at the 3/4 pole. Elm Grove Uncanny trying to cut into it second, and Blood Wine has welled back in third. The 3/4 went 136 to go the backstretch in 30 and 2 with an eighth of a mile left to go. That's Exhilarating. Elm Grove Uncanny has cut into her lead second and back third. That's Blood Wine, the 2-year-old filly Pacers in the future stars at Summerside. Exhilarating for Daryl McLean goes all the way. Just 2.5 off the leader at the finish. Elm Grove Uncanny third. That goes to Blood Wine, the mile in 2:05 and 4. Results of the second baby race. Elm Grove Uncanny was second. Blood Wine third. Exhilarating the winner. Fractions up 33 and 3. 105 and 3. 136. 205 and 4. In review 2, 3, 1. There's Exhilarating, the winner of the second baby race, the Bay Pacing Filly 2 by Shanghai Phil off the Sports Writer Dam Sports Affair. Owners are Daryl and Gordon McLean of Winslow, Stephen Downey of Quizbam Sis, New Brunswick. She was bred by Wendell Williams. Daryl McLean is the trainer and the driver. And the filly was on top at every call today, 205 and 4 on that sloppy track with a 3-second variant. starters in the third baby race on this Sunday are on the track. These are pacing colts. Blood Sworn is the one. Mike Downey. Number 2 is Chicon with Colin Shepard. Three, Louis the Lip, Brody McPhee. 4, Zendaya's Moonshine, Willie McKay. 'Baby race number 3 with the 2-year-old colt Pacers. Field of 4 on their way to that starting gate. We'll take them a half a mile around the track and then send them off to the races. Blood Sworn is the one. Here's a bay gelding by Blood Money off the No Pan Intended dam, painstakingly. Dr. Mitch Downey of St. John, New Brunswick is the owner and breeder. Mike Downey, trainer, driver. Chicon number 2. Bay colt by Blood Money off the Western Maverick Dam. Just Breathe, owned by Walter Deagle from Inverness, Nova Scotia. The breeders are Belinda Gray of Young Code, New Brunswick, and David White from Corth, Maine. Morgan Shepherd is the trainer. Colin Shepard drives. Louis the Lip is the 3. Here's a bay gelding by Somewhere Fancy off the All-American Native Dam, Sapir, Hanover. David Kennedy of Charlottetown and Ian Smith of Stratford share the ownership. Colt put by Michel Allard of Saint-Esprit, Quebec. Trained by Tommy Weatherby and Brody McPhee in the driver's seat. Zendaya's Moonshine the 4. Bay colt by Bet the Moon off the Western Ideal Dam, Sunset City. Willie McKay of Red Albin. Owner, trainer, driver. The breeder is Juanita McLeod and Alan McLeod of Brackley's. 2-year-old pacing colts. Future stars of racing into a Sunday afternoon at Summerside. It's the 3rd, top of the stretch. The babies in the 3rd, approaching a start. Rough and pacing. Chicane will get the first call. In between horses, Louis the Lip on the rail. That's Bloodsworn. And the trailer, Zendaya's Moonshine. They're rounding the turn and approaching the initial 8. It's Chicane and Colin Shepherd out in front. Early company coming on the outside. Louis the Lip up to challenge that leader. Third towards the rail is Bloodsworn, followed by the trailer. Fourth, Zendaya's Moonshine. So the new leader as they approach the first quarter mile. Louis the Lip and Brody McPhee have taken over top spot. Chicane goes second. Bloodsworn is third. And the trailer fourth. Zendaya's Moonshine. They went 33 seconds flat to the opening quarter. They're rounding the paddock turn. The 3/8 is the next station. Out in front by almost 4. That's Louis the Lip. Racing from second, Chicane. Then in third, it's Bloodsworn, followed by the trailer fourth. Zendaya's Moonshine. The positions are unchanged at the half-mile station. Louis the Lip. He's got him halfway home by 5 open now. Chicane goes second. Bloodsworn third. Fourth, that is Zendaya's Moonshine. They were halfway home in 1:04. And 2, rounding the turn, approaching on 5/8. Louis the Lip still alone on the lead. Continuing second, that is Chicane. Third is Bloodsworn. And the trailer fourth, Zendaya's Moonshine. On the backstretch, they go to 3/4 next. And on that front end, Louis the Lip continuing to lead here in the late going. Chicane is second. Bloodsworn has third. And going to the outside fourth, Zendaya's Moonshine. 3/4 of a mile in 1:35. And 2, Louis the Lip by a half a dozen with an 1/8 left to go. Chicane is second. Bloodsworn third. On the outside fourth, Zendaya's Moonshine. In the home stretch now, Louis the Lip all alone on the lead. Chicane second. Bloodsworn outside Zendaya's Moonshine, but it's Louis the Lip to win for Brody McPhee. Second, that'll go to Chicane. Up for third went Zendaya's Moonshine. Bloodsworn was fourth. 2:06-1. Results from the third baby race. Bloodsworn fourth, Chicane second, Louis the Lip the winner, Zendaya's Moonshine third. 33, 1:04 and 2, 1:35 and 2, mile 2:06 and 1. In review, it's 4:2-1-3. There's a look at Louis the Lip, the winner of the third race of our future stars. Louis is a bay pacing gelding 2 by Somewhere Fancy off the All-American Native Dam, Sapir Hanover. Owned by David Kennedy of Charlottetown and Ian Smith of Stratford, bred by Michel Allard of Saint-Esprit, Quebec. Trained by Tommy Weatherby and Brody McPhee, drives him to victory. 2:06 and 1. Louis the Lip. The 2-year-old fillies are back for the fourth baby race. The one is Fancy Gal B, Norris Rogers. Mrs. Gallant is the 2 with Kenny Murphy. Electra Flying wears 3, Daryl McLean. Four is Covalicious Rhymes, Devin Wallace. Just a reminder, that free barbecue located at the north end of the grandstand. Anyone within listening distance invited to pick yourself up a hot dog at the free barbecue. It's at the north end of the grandstand. Fourth and the final baby race. Lining up, Fancy Gal B on the rail. Here's a bay filly by Somewhere Fancy off the Art Major Dam. Major Temper Tantrum. JD Racing Incorporated of Cornwall, the owner. The breeder is Blair Campbell of Darlington, trained by Nick Oakes. Norris Rogers is the driver. Mrs. Gallant wears 2. Bay Filly by Somewhere Fancy off the Art Major Dam. Chorale Hanover, owned by Peter Gilby of Valence, Nova Scotia, and the BMD Memorial Stable of Crapo. Eldred Nicholson is the breeder. Joe Baxter, the trainer, and Kenny Murphy drives. From post 3, that's Electra Flying. Here's a Bay Filly by Source of Pride off the Blissful Hall Dam. General Lucky Percy, owned by Daryl and Gordon McLean and Stephen Downey, bred by Halmack Farms Limited. Daryl McLean trains and drives. And from post 4 is Covalicious Rhymes, a black filly by Malicious off the Rock and Roll Hanover Dam. Feel the Rhythm. Shirlene O'Brien of Campbellton is the owner, bred by Daryl McLean of Winslow. Devin Wallace is the trainer and the driver, and these fillies will race on a sloppy track with a 3-second variant. Fancy Gal, Mrs. Gallant, Electra Flying, Covalicious Rhymes, top of the stretch. Two-year-old filly pacers ready for a start. Rough and pacing. The first one out is Fancy Gal. Right alongside Electra Flying is second. Third one as they make their way around the turn. That's Mrs. Gallant. On the outside is Covalicious Rhymes. By the 8th pole, and they straighten up the backstretch, and they'll go to the opening quarter. Fancy Gal and Norris Rogers by 4. All alone in second. That's Electra Flying back into third. Covalicious Rhymes trailing the field. That is Mrs. Gallant. Gallant. They arrive at the opening quarter mile. Fancy Gal, the leader. The lead down to 2. Electra Flying races from second. They're at the quarter in 31 and 4. Third one around the paddock turn for the first time. Covalicious Rhymes, and trailing the field, that is Mrs. Gallant. Off the paddock turn, they straighten through the stretch with the half mile in their sights now. They're led by Fancy Gal. In the 2-hole, Electra Flying, then alone in third. That is Covalicious Rhymes, and Mrs. Gallant continuing to trail. At the midway point, it is Fancy Gal halfway home, and she got the field there in 103 and 4. Electra Flying stalking second. Covalicious Rhymes is third. Mrs. Gallant fourth. They're on their way to 3/4 next. Fancy Gal, the lead down to 1. Coming to the outside to challenge in the late going. Electra Flying right on to the lead. Now second, that's Fancy Gal. Up to take over third, Mrs. Gallant, and now the trailer fourth, Covalicious Rhymes. 3/4 in the books, and Electra Flying now driving away. 3/4 up in 1:35 flat. They're down to an 8 to go. Electra Flying out in front. Second is Fancy Gal. Then racing from third, Mrs. Gallant, the trailer fourth. That's Covalicious Rhymes. 2-year-old filly pacers. In the Future Stars, Electra Flying and Daryl McLean, they were all alone at the finish. Up for second, Mrs. Gallant. Third, Fancy Gal. Fourth, that is Covalicious Rhymes. Time for the mile, 2:04 and 4. Now the results of the fourth baby race: Fancy Gal third, Mrs. Gallant second, Electra Flying the race winner, Covalicious Rhymes fourth, 31 and 4, 103 and 4, 135 and the mile in 2:04 and 4. In review, 3, 2, 1, 4. As a reminder of that barbecue in the north end of the grandstand, has a free Sunday lunch. Compliments of Red Shores and the Prince County Horsemen's Club. There's a look at Electra Flying from the fourth race of our Future Stars series. She's a big pacing filly. 2 by Source of Pride from the Blissful Hall Dam, General Lucky Percy, owned by Daryl and Gordon McLean. Stephen Downey, bred by Halmack Farms Limited, trained and driven to victory today by Daryl McLean, 2:04 and 4.